I don't wanna waste any more time in the mirror, watching my face never change. I don't feel beautiful today. Oh, and I don't wanna waste any more heart and cash on these miracles that never change the way I feel. Don't make me beautiful today. Oh, how long can I hide away beneath this disguise? And what drastic measures do I have to take to realize that I am amazing in spite of what I can see? When I look at myself, wishing I could be anyone other than me. 'Cause I was created with everything I could ever need, so I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna stay just the way God made me. I'm not gonna take any more of these lies they've been feeding me. Not gonna listen to the voices of my enemies today. Oh, when my feet on solid ground, I'm gonna turn it all around, because it's time I realized I'm truly beautiful inside. How long can I hide away beneath this disguise? And what drastic measures do I have to take to realize that I am amazing in spite of what I can see? When I look at myself, wishing I could be anyone other than me. 'Cause I was created with everything I could ever need, so I'm not gonna change. Oh, I'm gonna stay just the way God made me. And who am I to say that I could do a better job than him? 'Cause I am amazing in spite of what I can see. When I look at myself, wishing I could be anyone other than me. 'Cause we are amazing. If only we could believe that it's all in His hands. We're a part of a plan that's much bigger than us. Yes, we are amazing. When I look at myself, wishing I could be anyone other than me. 'Cause we are
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to the final Manifest 2025 session. If you're on YouTube, let us know where you're watching from in the chats right now. You're welcome to today's session. Just type in the comment section where you're joining. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're. And if you're joining us live, welcome. We're so glad that you are here. Honestly, today feels super special because this isn't just another session. This is the last chapter of a journey we started at the beginning of this year, 2025. And wow, what a journey it has been. It has been 12 months of manifesting 2025 in the best way that we can. And at the start of this year, I remember that in the first meeting we had, many of us came in with expectations, prayers. We shared some of the things we were hoping to gain. We had questions. We had big dreams for the year. We shared our goals. We spoke about different things. And I know some of us came confident, some of us came uncertain, some of us came just knowing that we wanted something to change. And I hope that with how far we have come, we have seen some of that and so much more. And here we all are, still standing, still growing, still choosing to show up for ourselves. So I want to say to everyone in the chosen company, well done and congratulations for coming this far. Over the course of Manifest 2025, we have had very deep conversations, intentional teachings, and real life lessons from our lead mentor and our friends, which were other incredible mentors who have shared wisdom, experience, and perspective with us. I remember some of the sessions we have had. Open conversations with OVO, relationships in our 20s and 30s, our story, our power, our journey, the many other sessions that we had, private sessions with just us in the chosen company. And I know many of the things we talked about were vision, discipline, identity, direction, growth, and some of the sessions are still live. So anyone who is coming here for the first time and wants to watch some of those sessions, you can still go back on the channel OLAMIDOTUN VOTU to watch it. And there will be so much to gain. I promise there is so much to gain from many of those sessions. And I know majorly we've talked about becoming the woman who can actually sustain the life she desires. So Manifest 2025 has never been about hype. It has been about intentional growth, and it has been about learning how to think differently, choose better, and live our best lives, even when life feels unclear. And today we're closing this session the right way. So, this final session is about reflection and preparation so that we're not just rushing into 2026, we're not just ending Manifest 2025 by just any easy way, but by knowing that we are not stumbling into another year, but we're ending this year and this mentorship program with clarity and stepping forward with intention. So before we move any further, let me just say this clearly that if you're watching on YouTube, this session is for you to engage in the chat, react, share the link with a friend, share it on your status, share it with others in the group, and invite someone to watch with you so they can gain with you. And community doesn't always have to be in the same room. Sometimes it starts right from where you are. So what you're learning today, share it with someone. To just keep it with yourself. Now, another quick reminder, and this is important, there will be a special time limited gift shared towards the end of the session. So please stay with us till the very end to hear about it. You don't want to miss it. So as we go into today's session, I want to encourage you to do three simple things: be present, be honest, and be open. You don't need all the answers today, just the willingness to reflect and plan. So, once again, this session is not about perfection, it's about direction and clarity. So, wherever you're watching from on YouTube, grab your notebook, your pen, your phone notes, whatever you need. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that choosing to plan is already a powerful step. So, now it gives me great pleasure to invite the woman who has walked this journey with us throughout the year, our lead mentor who has guided us to conversations, invited other mentors, challenged our thinking, or at least I'm sure myself, and I know many others, and who has led Manifest 2025 with intention and earth. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to read her bio before she comes on. So Olamidotun Votu-Obada is a celebrated children's book author, social entrepreneur, senior executive, podcast host, and intentional international speaker. She is the founder of The Chosen Company and the lead mentor of Manifest 2025, a year-long mentorship platform created to inspire, guide, and equip women in their 20s and 30s to live intentionally, lead confidently, and build meaningful lives. With over 15 years of leadership experience, Olamidotun has built a career at the intersection of business, storytelling, and impact. She's also the author of the acclaimed Be Inspired children's book series, a widely celebrated book series in schools internationally for its impact on cultural inclusion, diversity, self identity, and literacy. Our work in this space has earned her multiple recognitions, including Ontario Government Acknowledgements and Community Spirit Awards in Canada for inclusion and diversity. Olamidotun created the Chosen Company as a way of giving back, drawing from her own life journey leadership experiences, and the wisdom of friends and mentors to help young women navigate identity, purpose, career, relationships, and personal growth with clarity and confidence. She's a gifted and relatable speaker. Olamidotun is known for her warmth, clarity, and ability to translate real life experiences into practical lessons that resonate deeply with women at pivotal stages of life. Through TCC, her books, and her speaking engagements, she continues to champion intentional living, personal growth, and the power of becoming. Now, before you join me, wherever you are, in welcoming Olamidotun Votu-Obada as she leads us in the final session, I want to ask that everyone on YouTube and everywhere you are, just share your story. I'm just asking, and everybody that has been part of Manifest 2025 since the beginning of the year, just share how it is that our lead mentor, Olamidotun Votu-Obada, has impacted you and has been able to change something about you. So I'm going to be starting with myself, and I'm hoping I'll be able to read relatable answers soon. So one of the major sessions for me since we began Manifest 2025 was, I remember, okay, let me start from the last session when we had a story, a power, a journey. I was so happy to listen to women like me that are in their 20s and their 30s and listening to them talk about their struggles, the different ways that they are just trying their best to live their best lives, and listening to women talk about their trauma and the things they're still struggling with, the ones that are married, the ones that are not married, the ones that are in a certain area of their career, the ones that have had to quit their jobs even at the peak of their careers because they just felt like this is not the place for me and there is more for me. So that was a very good session for me the last time we had one of these sessions. And another good thing is I'm hoping that there are some people here that were part of the chosen company in the first cohort. So I was part of the first cohort and I'm still here in the second cohort, and I can say that it has only gotten better. It has only gotten better so far. So, as I usually ask, and she'll be coming on soon, what is that one thing you're hoping to gain in this session today? And I'll be reading answers off YouTube or on the group chat, anywhere you want to send your answers. Or if you want to send them to me privately, you can send them. But what is that one thing you're hoping to gain today? For me, I love like the idea that we'll be building vision boards or learning how to build our 2026 vision board is a very key thing for me because there is the beauty in having a community, and there is that beauty in knowing that you can grow with people, you can set your goals with people, and just know that okay, everyone are different areas of their lives and everyone are hopeful, or yeah, hoping to see something even better in the new year. So I'm very thankful. I'll like to lead by saying that I'm very thankful for how far we have come in Manifest 2025 this year, and I can't wait to see all that this session has to offer. So I'm still reading answers. Just let me know what it is you're wishing to hear about today, see today. And I promise it's more than just a vision board session. It's a session that is going to help you get ready for 2026 and allow 2025 end in the best way possible. So share your answers, or you can tell me about things that you gained in the last sessions, or you can just share a comment and recommend one of your best sessions to anyone that is just here for the first time and they would like to know, okay, which of the sessions that we've spoken about should I go back to watch? Or you can watch many of the inspiring videos on the channel. There are many content here that are useful and inspiring to anybody in their 20s and their 30s and even beyond. So if you're here watching, if you're going to watch later, if you're watching live, if you're going to watch later, just share your comments. We will read your comments and we will know that you are listening, you are engaging, and we have a community here. I'm checking out for the comments. And another thing you should know, as I said, you should, if you're joining now, you should stay till the end because at the end, there is a time limited gift that everyone is going to be given an access to that will crown today's session in the best way. So I promise I'm not going to leak the entire secrets, but I'm just saying that you should stay till the end so that you can gain from this. So I'm still looking out for your answers and your comments on what parts you've enjoyed the most, or what session you've enjoyed the most, or what you hope to gain in this session today. And even if you're coming after the live session has ended, I want you to still drop the comment to tell us this is what I gained the most. This is a way that this community has helped me. This is the video that I've seen. This is the live that I watched. This is a mentor I listened to who changed my life. Just share it with us, and we would love to listen to you.
Thank you so much, Happiness, for that. Thank you so much. It's so exciting for me to be here. I am really, really, really excited to be here. Good morning, good afternoon to anyone. I don't know where you guys are joining, but I am so excited. I would like to know that you guys can hear me. It's truly an honor to be here. I cannot believe 1 year has passed. I cannot believe it's been one entire year. I remember, well, 9 months, because what I said to you guys is give me 9 months. 9 months has passed and we are here. Um, Let me say this. Let me say this, and thank you so much, Happiness, for kind of going over. Let me say this to any single person that is joining here right now, that honestly, it's truly an honor. I know that we're at the end of the year. Some people are joining live, some people are going to be streaming. I don't know when you're joining or when you're watching this, but I'm hoping that this session is going to be short, sweet, straight to the point, so that you can come back and reflect on it, come back and think about it, think about what you're hearing. And that's what I really, really hope that this session is going to be. For me, one of the things that I love the most is mentoring. I love mentoring people. I say to young people that for me, one of the things that gave me an acceleration early in my career, in everything that I did, was just having the right people. I need media to let me know that my sound is okay and that there are no bots in the middle. Okay, so for me, very early, I had an acceleration because of mentors. The power of mentorship is what got me to a very fast stage of my career, and even everything that I did. What made me avoid mistakes early was the power of mentorships. I do not joke with mentors, and that is one of the reasons why, as much as it can get busy for me, I've always said that I wanted to give people that same opportunity that I had, because I find that there are a lot of people that are my age that are speaking online. And so I want to be able to enable somebody else the same power of mentorship that I had early as well. Now, like always, like anything that I say to my mentees, everything I talk about is faith-based, and it's always exciting. It's always faith-based. It's always applicable. I try to make it as applicable as possible. My faith is the foundation of everything that I do. I'm Christian, after all. But one thing I do is I'm not just a Christian that doesn't walk the walk. I literally say to people, I'm a warrior in heels. I go into my closet, I pray my prayers, I come out, and you see a woman in her heels walking powerfully, but you do not understand that where my power lies is on my knees. And that is one of the things that I say to my mentees. I want you to be a warrior in heels. When people see you, they want to see a powerful, strong woman that they cannot understand her power, but they know that her power is from a particular source, and that is from God. And that is why everything that I do, even when I start my mentoring, I start with a word of prayer, because I know where my strength comes from. And so today I'm going to start with a word of prayer. I thank you so much, Happiness. And I also love the song that was playing at the beginning. The song says, I am amazing, and I don't know where you're joining from, what life has thrown at you, what stage of life you have been at, but I want you to understand that you are amazing. You are powerful. You're strong. You're a beautiful woman. God made you fearfully and wonderfully. And that is a message. If you don't take anything away today, I want you to take that message away. And so here I go. I start with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for every woman that is watching live or is rewatching this session. Father, I thank you because you made all of us for a purpose, for a reason. And I thank you for this group of women, the chosen company. It's a group of strong, solid women, 20s to 30s, that are experiencing life in a different way. I thank you because of the power that we carry. I thank you for the power that we have. Father, I pray that even as we go into the conversations of planning 2026 and we review 2025, I pray, oh Lord, that you would teach us. You cast the ultimate vision for us, and you will help every woman here to find who they are in you. Thank you, Father, because you always hear us when we pray. For in Jesus' mighty name I have prayed. Amen. Amen. Okay, so like I said, thank you so much, Happiness, for starting the session with me. Before I go any further, I want you guys to do something. I want you to pick up your phone and I want you to share this link with a friend. You might just be on a group, on a platform that you're on. And I want you to find this particular event and share it with a friend, somebody that maybe you know will need it, will need to rewatch it. They might still be sleeping. Or maybe you're watching, you're rewatching, and you think that this is a great session. I want you to share it in your community, in your group. So I'm doing the same. I'm picking up my phone and I want you to immediately share. And I also want you to do one more thing for me. I want you to like it. Apparently, it helps the algorithms. So I want you to like this session, share it and like it, and let's get people to come back and rewatch it. Now, I remember when we started, Happiness spoke about what Manifest 2025 was. And at the end, we're going to do a kind of a review of what it was. So a few years ago, 2 years ago, I started this group called The Chosen Company, and it's a strong group of women, 20s to 30s, that I have the opportunity to mentor in my very busy schedule. I love the power of mentorship. Like I said, I absolutely believe in it. The first year I mentored about 10 women, and some of them have gone on to become my mentees. In fact, I have a good relationship with some of them, and some of them have stayed in touch with me because of what they have gained from that mentoring session. In 2025, I decided to do what I thought would have been like a bed pain, 9 months of mentoring women online. Some of these women I never met, 25 women, and we had sessions from March. Some of those sessions were with my friends, where we had deep conversations, and we're able to talk about relationship. We spoke about being yourself, owning your space, owning your story. I mean, 2025 was a very busy year, but that was what we did in 2025. And one of the things that I promised was at the end of this year, that I would kind of propel them into the next year. It's a 1 year mentoring session. I'm hoping that some of the tools that these women have gained, it will take them into the next phase of their lives. Now, one thing that I do very, very strongly is I do believe in the power of vision board. Now, some people might ask you, what is a vision board? What is that? I'm going to speak very, very briefly about that. One of the reasons why I believe very strongly in vision boards is a lot of us do vision boards and we don't realize that we are actually doing vision boards. Now, let me explain it to you. Some of you might say, oh, I want to graduate, and you print a picture of graduation. Or some of you might say, I want to work in a particular company, and you print a picture of that particular company and you put it on your wall. That is already a vision board. You're already building a vision board. But sometimes people only do vision boards in one area of their lives without doing in other areas of their lives. And what I've always done, in fact, I started doing vision boards in 2019, which is about 6 years ago. I started doing vision boards. I built my first vision board. I'm going to speak very, very briefly about that. I built my first vision board at a time when I was very, very weak, but I realized that vision boards are important because it kind of creates a trajectory throughout the year for you. Some of us at the beginning of the year, we're writing goals, we're writing things down. And so the year starts in January, you don't even know where the paper is, you don't know where the book is. Some of us only remember one of those two goals. But when you create a vision board, it stays in front of you. My vision board, for instance, it sits on the front of my closet where I dress up, which is also where I pray. And so, what that does for me is no matter how difficult the year is, I have it before me. I know what I want to achieve in the year. And so it almost creates a trajectory for me, from something for me to go back to, even when things are going in a different direction. Now, what I want to do for those of us that are here in their 20s to 30s, you might have heard about vision board. You might have said to yourself that, oh, you know what does it mean? How do people do it? I mean, a lot of famous people do vision boards. Oprah, Michelle Obama. There's so many famous people that do vision boards. The vision of this is, as we end Manifest 2025, and I know that I had said to Happiness that this was going to be a generalized session, but I'm going to make this session very, very specific for people in their 20s. And let me say this to you. This year, 2026, I'm not doing any mentoring of new people. I will be announcing later on what I'm going to be doing in terms of mentoring. Let me say this to you, that if you don't do anything for yourself, one of the things you can do is you can come back and re-watch some of our sessions. In fact, if you watch this session to the end, one of the things I'm going to say, some of our sessions are very, very private. So I don't allow people to, like when I had a session with my friends, we didn't put it online. It was kept quiet. It was kept in a private folder. If, for instance, you want to have access to that, maybe you send us an email. Happiness will give details of that email. We might allow you to have access to those sessions, just simply because I find that people in their 20s are going through this phase where you almost think like you have a lot of time, you feel like time is on your hands and you can do everything that you need to do. And sometimes I find that people in their 20s, you tend to make a lot of mistakes because you just think that, okay, you know what, when I'm in my 30s, I will figure this out. I will figure out what I need to do. I will figure out what I need to do. I don't need to be so pressured on myself right now. There's so much time. There's so much that I can achieve later on. The truth is, I say to people, in your 20s is the best time to begin to plan for what is going to happen in your 30s and what is going to happen in your 40s. Life doesn't just happen to you in your 40s. This year I turned 40, and people say, oh, wow, that's a huge landmark. For me, I think I turned 40 years ago because I began to think about what my life will be like when I am 40. And so that age did not just happen to me. So some people get into their 40s and they have midlife crisis because they just were not intentional about how they were living. But what you have to do in your 20s is every single decision, what happens, who you marry, everything that's going to happen to you later in life, you make those decisions in your 20s, your friendships, where you walk, how you're going to retire, your savings, your investments, everything is happening to you in your 20s. And it's important that you're making the key decisions, because when you get to your 30s, it's almost like a plane that is staying in a holding, like a plane that is in a, how will I say it? Like you're about to take flight. When you get into your 30s, the idea is that you begin to take flight, and then in your 40s, you begin to glide in the air. You're gliding in the air because you have taken your time to plan and to strategize about everything that you're doing, whether you're building on yourself or you had traumatic experiences as a child. You're going back and you're dealing with those traumatic experiences. You're owning your story. You're saying to yourself, this is my story. Yes, some people say, oh, I wish this didn't happen to me. Unfortunately, it happened. And one of the things I would encourage you to do is go back and watch the first session of Manifest 2025, when I spoke about owning your story, how all our stories are important. Every single experience that you go through, I remember for myself, as when I was in my 20s, I started thinking to myself, I don't like this part of my life. But when I realized that all of the experiences that I had were important to who I was becoming, I began to own my story. And so today when I meet people and people are like, I'm able to relate with any kind of any kind of person, or I'm a certain way, I say to people, it is because of certain experiences that I had as a child. And there is no part of my story that I regret, whether they were traumatic or whether they were losses in my family. Every single part of my story makes who I am. And so it's important in your 20s that you own that and it's a part of you. And so today's session is geared to people in their 20s and 30s. It's not for my friends that might want to know how to do their vision boards, might need to look out for my session on that. Or later on, I'm also going to be doing a session for them. Today is geared towards people in their 20s and their 30s. And even as I start today's session, what I would like for you to do is not just to build a vision board for 2026. Perhaps you might be building a vision board for the next 5 years. Maybe you might be saying to yourself, I am 25. I want to build a vision board for where I am going by the time I'm 30. This is what I want to be. I have a vision board that I have held for 5 years since 2020. And this year, I'm finally seeing the vision board manifesting. So rather than build a vision board for 1 year, if you're in your 20s, I would like for you to build that vision board for the next 5 years, putting in mind where you are going and what you want to achieve. That is what I would like for you to do. Because if you've been through the Manifest program, you understand that it's been a huge journey. Now you're saying, I'm going in 2026. How am I going to achieve my goals in 2026? What am I going to do to achieve these goals? That is what today is about. How are you going to build a vision board for where you are going? And as I start the session today, I'm going to invite the team to kind of put up one of my slides. There are two tools we're going to be using today. The first tool is a handbook. This handbook, I'm giving it to every single person that watches this session. We had said 48 hours, but I'm giving it to everyone that watches the session over the next 3 days. You can have it for free. It's a tool. It's a handbook. Over the next 72 hours, you can go in and you can download it. At the end, we will share the link of that handbook with you. That handbook is what is going to guide you to build a vision board for the next 5 years. And if you choose to do it for 2026, that is great. Secondly, I'm going to be sharing my slides, and my slides are going to talk about my journey. Now, at the time in which this journey started, I would say, as much as I have a journey from when I was in my 20s, my journey in building vision boards started from, I would say, when I was 34, and that's when I built my first vision board. So I'm going to invite the team to kind of share my slides while I speak about it, and then I'm going to talk you through how to use the handbook. When you're ready, please let me know. Okay, fantastic. So I remember when I built my first vision board, and this is kind of going to go back to that. My first vision board was a very, very interesting journey for me. I remember, and just looking back at it, it was a very strong period in my life where, I mean, I was 34. I wasn't exactly in the most, as some people will say, you build a vision board when you're about to take off. No. In fact, I remember the day I built that vision board, I didn't want to attend the session. I can go through every single thing that related to that session. It was probably the hardest meeting I ever wanted to attend. I was in debt. I was in a very weak place in my life. I was feeling very, very much insecure. I also was in a place where so many things that I had thought would happen were not happening. And so I remember that I had gone into business, I had started business, and the business wasn't profitable. And so what this meant for me was, doing that vision board, it was almost like I wanted to know, okay, what was the next stage and what did I want to achieve? How did I want to achieve what the next phase of my life? I wish they could show it. It was a very weak point of my life. That was the picture of what I looked like when I did my first vision board. Now, for me, they say that if you don't know where you're going, everywhere is going to lead there. Every single thing you're doing is going to lead there. Now, what I did that was 2019, like I said. It was a very weak point. One of my friends was hosting a vision board, and I thought, you know what, I better jump on it. I was 34. Some people might have said I'd achieved a certain level of success in my career. I do not agree because I was very timid. I was very, very timid when I did my first vision board. In fact, what that made me then do was, and even as they show you this, what that made me then do is, after I built that first vision board, I realized that there was more to me. And in that moment, for me, I asked myself, what was a vision board? And I said to people, even the Bible says it, a vision board, a Bible says in Habakkuk, write the vision, make it plain. And because I was in a very weak place of my life, I realized that I wanted more out of life. There was so much more that I wanted out of life. I wanted to be able to achieve much more. I didn't want to be insecure. I didn't want to be in debt. I didn't want to be broken. I didn't want to be timid. In fact, my marriage was about to break as well. I wanted a lot more out of life. And that was what I did. Now, in the year that I did it in 2019, some people will say, so how was the year for you? Was it a great year? Was it one of those years where you achieved all your goals? In the year I did my vision board, that one year I lost my father. Now, what that means for you is that year I achieved every single thing on my vision board, but it was also one of the toughest years of my life because I lost my father. Now, what that meant for me is I consistently put the vision before me, working with God, regardless of the fact that I was going through a very tough season in my life. I ended the year debt-free. I achieved a lot of progress in my business. I also was able to move in terms of open another business, and I achieved great fits. I was no longer insecure. It was almost like I became a different person. In fact, somebody saw me at the end of that year and said, what happened? You experienced a very huge loss, but then you still achieved a great victory in many areas of your life. And I said, well, I decided to have a vision for where I was going. And that vision was what changed everything. I also decided to pray a lot. So this might be for somebody that might be saying, you know what, I'm going through a phase in my life where things are not moving very quickly. This might be that moment when you need to maybe perhaps pray. You need to maybe lean in and glean into God. Like I said, 2019 was a tough year for me, but I also achieved many of my goals in that one year. Now, in 2020, I build another vision board, and I've spoken to a lot of you young ladies. He had a lot of big, big goals. And this is really where I want to speak, because I remember 2020 was also the year of COVID, which was a really tough year for all of us. And I remember in 2020, when that vision board was built, I was almost frustrated in February, and I wish they could show a picture of my 2020 vision board with the women that I built it with, which also shows you the power of a strong community. As 2020 hit and we got into COVID, yeah, you can see it. That was my vision board. That was 2019 vision board, and that was what I mean. When you look at the pictures, I was able to build a team. But I'm speaking about 2020. In 2020, when we got into COVID, what happened was COVID almost made me feel like, look, I can't achieve my goals. There's no direction. That was my 2020 vision board. You can see it was a very intense vision board. I told myself I wanted to be on the 100 list. I wanted to retrain my brain. Now, what happened in 2020 was, I remember in COVID, and this is also the power of vision. As COVID hit, some things I wanted to throw out. I thought to myself, I can't achieve this. This is almost impossible. There's nothing I'm going to do about it. But guess what happened in the same year? I almost felt like God was saying to me, this needs to become your 5-year goal. It is no longer just a 2020 goal. You are going to set this as a 5-year goal for yourself, because obviously situations have happened. COVID is happening. The world is slowing down. And so I took a 2020 goal and I set it to myself. I said, I'm not going to delete this goal. I'm going to set it to myself as a 5-year goal, and everything in that vision board spoke about empowering women, spoke about self, it spoke about being a present mom. For those of you that may not know, I'm married. I'm 14 years married next year. I have 3 daughters, 12, 10, and 4. And so I told myself I wanted to be a present mom. Those were the things that were in my own vision board. And so every year after 2020, I have either added to that vision board or I have sat down to rebuild a new vision board. Now, let me say this, since 2020 till date, there are many things that have happened, and this is the power of a vision. Many things that have happened, and some of the things that have happened in 2020 till date, once again, I've lost my father, I've lost my mother, I've lost my mother-in-law, I've lost my father-in-law, I've lost 4 parents. So between my husband and I, we've lost 4 parents. I have had a miscarriage, I've had a child, I have moved countries, I've relocated countries in that 5-year window. But constantly, the vision has always stayed before me. We goes back to write a vision, make it plain. Let the one that runs with it, let him run. You know, who is running. And that is the power of a vision board. That regardless of whatever you go through in life, you constantly have a vision before you. So when people say to me, you've gone through a lot of losses in 5 years, but you are still able to keep constantly achieving your goals, I say to people, because I have already decided a vision for myself. So for instance, I'm a very healthy person, right? And so I wish they could show a picture of my parents. In 5 years, my 4 parents have all died. My husband and I've almost lost my marriage, but the one thing that has remained constant is the power of a vision. The power of a vision will keep you consistent. So in 5 years, since 2020 till 2025, whilst all of these people are no longer here, the power of a vision has kept me consistent, has kept me in the lane. And obviously the power of God, most importantly, has kept me in lane. Even when I remember in 2021, when I had a health scare and my health has went through like many stages, I was able to retrace my steps and say, this is not where I'm supposed to be health-wise, because this is not the vision I set for myself. The vision I set for myself in 2020 was health. And so there's a picture of me which shows the different stages of my health in 5 years and how I have managed to retrace my steps back to where I want to be in 5 years. My point is, life happens. 2019, I'm at my healthiest. 2021, I hit a health scare where I'm at my heaviest. And now I'm in 2025. This year alone, I say to people, this year alone, I've run 3 half marathons. So for me, it's no longer about being unhealthy. It's about, I am the kind of person, this is the kind of person I want to be. That was the vision for myself. So it's no longer about a yo-yo diet for me. I looked at myself in 2019. I wanted to constantly be healthy. And in 2025, I am still that same person because I am the kind of person. Now, would I say I am where I want to be? Of course not. I'm not perfectly where I want to be, but I am still on a journey. But the goal is you have to be the kind of person that you want to be. Now, be the kind of person is the word I live here. So for instance, if you're the kind of person that you say, look, I want to be the kind of person that is financially free. I want to be the kind of person that is, it's no longer about, you know what, I want to look a certain way. I want to be a consistent person. That's one of the goals for myself. I want to be a consistent person. A consistent person means that even when things are not aligned, I'm constantly showing up for myself. And that is the power of a vision. If you do not set a vision for yourself, the Bible even says it, my people perish for lack of wisdom. If you don't set a vision for yourself, let me tell you, all roads will lead nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And so if you're watching this, you're in your 20s, or maybe you're in your 30s, and you're thinking, you have to ask yourself, where do I want to be by this stage of my life? So you're either building this vision board for 1 year or you're building it for 5 years of your life, right? You're building it intentionally for where you want to be. I wish they could bring back my vision board for 2020. Literally a month ago, like 3 weeks ago, I looked at my vision board for 2020. Remember what I said? It became a 5-year vision board. And I thought to myself, it's done. I've achieved everything on this vision board. There is nothing more. I've either achieved it or I am on my way there. I've either achieved it. It says here 2020, I said, look great, live healthy. It's there. Strategy, pioneering spirit. I have pioneered books, a series of books that is about history, writing, retelling people's history. Don't be outpaced. So I'm constantly redeveloping myself. I've put here, bring your holiday home. I'm so thankful to God that I did not lose my home, lose my marriage. I've put here open doors. That means see opportunities. I've put here feel good, feel great. I've put here the 100 list. Now, I'm recently, somebody did a list and they put me on that list and I kind of smiled, even though I thought this is not the list I want to be. I mean, it's not an international platform, but I know that I am on the way to the 100 list of women in different sectors. Born to dare, I've constantly dared different aspects. Now, there's some things here that I can say I may not have achieved 100%, but I can tell you for free, I'm on my way there. I am on my way to this particular vision board. And that's why I literally told myself it's time to pack this vision board up and begin to paint a new 5-year vision board for myself. So this year, I'm going to be painting a 5-year vision board and a 2026 vision board. Now, what am I saying here? What I'm saying here is if you can take this opportunity with me as someone, a female, and paint the vision board for yourself for 2026 or the next 5 years of your life, let me tell you, something will happen. It will shift your mindset. Even when you go through the worst things in your life, that vision will always be set before you. Okay. I also want to say this. This tool that I've used, I feel like I've developed it over the years. It's a tool that what I want you to do with this tool, and they're going to be sharing it shortly, you will probably have to sit down, you have to download it. My advice to you is you have to spend some time, maybe over the next 2-3 days. When you download it, you print it out. Spend time early in the mornings, in the evenings. You can take this slide away now, I'm done. Spend time answering the questions on this handbook. This handbook will help you kind of internalize and answer certain questions that are important to you. And that is what this handbook is going to do for you. I wish they would share the cover of the handbook now. Now, for me, what I like about this handbook is it's a tool that I use, and it's a tool that I am going to be using as well, just to be able to build where I want to be. It asks you key questions. Now, remember, it's a tool, it's not an exam. It's a tool that kind of helps you internalize and answer the most important questions in your life. Just so that you're able to plan. Some people start the year sitting down and say, oh, I want to achieve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How are you going to achieve it? What are the things that are gonna help you achieve that goal? How is it going to happen? What are your limitations? What are the things that you need to change about your life? What is important? And this is another thing I teach people, even as we're going to start sharing the vision board handbook. What are the things that are going to be important to you in terms of the season of your life? So for instance, I'll give you an example. Maybe you're a young mom, maybe you have a child and your friend is in their career, they're single. The vision that they're going to paint for themselves are going to be two totally different things. You might be the same age. You might both be 27 or 20, or you might both be 35, 36, and you paint two totally different pictures for yourself. The season of life that you are in determines what you're going to paint. So for instance, my kids at the moment are 12, 10, and 4. I'm in a season in my life where I need to be very, very present for my children. So everything I'm building is around my children. Somebody else might be in their 40s and they have children that are 17, 18, maybe about to go into university. Their season of life might be more career focused than I am. guess what? It doesn't mean that the person is better than me. It just means that I understand the season of life that I'm in. And because I understand the season of life that I am in, what that means is I will intentionally plan according to the season of my life. And that is what the vision board tool does for you. It helps you zone in to understand what season of life am I in? Where am I right now? What has happened in my life? What requires my attention? Is it my family? Is it my children? Is it my career? Is it my finances? And then you are able to start the year with that vision in mind. You're not in competition with your friend, but you start with that vision in mind. Okay. So whilst I'm waiting for them to kind of share the handbook, I'm gonna walk through it on a stage by stage basis with you guys. I'm gonna show you how to answer the questions. Now, remember, for those of you that are in my mentorship group, the idea is that you take your time to do this handbook just so that you are able to know how best to plan for the year. Okay, so I'm going to be waiting for them. Now, remember, as you print this handbook, you're going to sit with it, maybe find a quiet space, put on some inspirational music, calm music that will help you think. Some people, when they start the year, what happens is they haven't taken out time, and that's what I love most about Christmas. Christmas is a time when you should intentionally sit down and plan. It's not a time for activities and parties and whatnot. It's a time for you to sit down and plan for the year ahead. Remember, he who fails to plan is planning to fail. So you have to sit down. Like for me, I love Christmas. It's one of my best seasons. But once Christmas is over, I go into a season when I 29th, 30th, 31st, I begin to think about the year ahead and I begin to ask myself some key questions. Although during the year, like from October, November, I'm already thinking about things I want to change in my life. But the idea that I'm saying here is whatever you're doing in the December period, it's important that you're planning. Now, for some of you that might just be joining us, some people are just joining us, you can listen as we go, or remember the stream is going to stay online and you can come back and restream as well. Okay, now even as we go into, remember, I'm sharing a handbook. This handbook is going to be left online available for 72 hours. And then after that, you can also still access it. It's a handbook that I have used a lot over the years. I've used it as a tool to guide me in building my year. And I hope that this handbook would also become a tool for you. In fact, the idea of the handbook is it's not just for 1 year, but it's something that you can use over and over and over again. Okay. Please give us 1 minute while they share this handbook with you. I'm waiting for them to kind of load it for me to be able to speak from it. Okay, so whilst we're waiting for it, I'm going to be speaking with reference from my phone. I have the document in front of me. Now, at the beginning of this handbook, it tells you to look back at the year. So you look back at the year, you see what the year has been, how it has been for you. Some of you might have had a really tough year. Some of you might have had a year where things were just really, really easy. You might have achieved some important goals in your year. However the year has been for you, look back at the year to see what you could have done differently. And that's how the handbook starts. It starts off with showing you, what happened this year. Okay, what did I win? Where did I win? What goals? And you can even do that. Maybe you're sitting in the living room and begin to ask yourself, what were the things that I achieved this year? What were my failures? What were my strategic wins? What were the goals that I was able to achieve this year? What were the things that I thought that changes that I made that I could see improvements in myself this year? That is the first big question. What were the things that you achieved? The only way you can look forward is to look back. So as you plan for the year, you have to look back whilst looking at everything that happened. Whether it was a failure, write it down. Whether it was a win, write it down. Whether it was a success, no matter what happened this year, I'm just trying to look through from no matter what happened this year, write down every single thing that happened in the year and be very, very intentional about, you know what, don't even, I remember when I did my first vision board, I said, I asked myself, what happened this year? So for instance, that year, I remember maybe I had good health. I wrote it down. Good health is important because when you have good health, you're able to achieve great things. If it's a year, maybe your health was tested, write it down. My year was tested this year. So that means in the new year, you have to prioritize, or maybe you have a life-threatening illness. That means whatever you're planning for yourself in the new year, you have to plan based on your health. You can't be walking based on somebody else's goals or somebody else's. So for instance, you might have a health goal, maybe you want to lose weight, but maybe at the same time you're diabetic. You have to write it down. What happened this year? This year I discovered that I was diabetic. This year I discovered that I had good health. This year I discovered that maybe there was an exam. I failed an exam 3, 4 times, 5 times, whatever it was. You have to write down every single win that you had in the year. And that is the first starting point of this handbook. Now, as you look through the handbook, even as I'm hoping that they're going to share, I'm just trying to pull it out. As you look through the handbook, what it then does for you is you are able to see for yourself, okay, what exactly is wrong with maybe as I'm planning towards the year. Now, there's a particular section where we talk about, I call it the wheel of balance. Now, in that wheel of balance, what I like about the wheel of balance is it kind of, some people say as a woman, you need to be able to balance it all, have a balancing act, you know what, balance, work-life balance. But I say to people, there's no one rule about balance it all. You can only balance based on what your own vision is. So for instance, when you look at the wheel of life, the wheel of balance will tell you, is it your marriage that is important to you? What areas were important to you? So in that vision board handbook, what it does for you is you are able to see, okay, based on my goals, what areas did I succeed at the most? Based on my goals, what areas did I did I achieve strong wins most? What areas? And this is what would help you kind of know as you plan in 2026. I really wish they would share this on the slides. As you plan in 2026, it kind of helps you know what exactly do you need to focus on. I remember there was a particular time in my life where there was a particular year, I remember 2019, I had achieved so much, so many goals, but unfortunately, most of those goals were actually based on my career. And so it was that year when I realized that, oh dear, I needed to start focusing on not just career, but I also had to start focusing on my children. And so you might have a year when you succeeded maybe in your career, at your job, you had a lot of wins, but looking at the wheel of balance, it makes you know what area do I need to focus on? What area do I, maybe for instance, I had a lot of wins in my career, but oh dear, there are also a lot of areas, maybe that year, I remember that particular year for me was the year when, okay, I'm going to share my slides. Let me just share. 1 second, please. If they can let me share, I'm going to share. Okay. Please, if you can see, let me know. You can see my screen. Remember, this is just a tool to guide you in planning the year. Okay. Okay. So if you can see this, let me know. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing again, and then I'm going to share again. Please bear with me 1 second. Okay. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, so remember what we said about this book? It's a guide to kind of help you. It's a yearly guide. You can use it over and over and over again. We've spoken a lot about some of the things that I put here. You can take your time to look through. I'm going straight. So what goals did you achieve this year is the first part that I said. You need to sit back and identify what goals you achieved this year. Now, you're going to put a dump, whatever accomplishments you achieved, what helped you to achieve those goals, what was it? Maybe, for instance, your job, maybe you had a great boss, that was what helped you. Maybe you passed an exam, what helped you to achieve those goals. You're just going to have a brain dump and you're going to put everything down. What failures did you have? So for instance, maybe it was at your health, you couldn't lose weight. What failures did you have? What experiences? Okay, you know what? This year I couldn't lose weight. This year I couldn't pass that exam. What was the thing that made you realize, oh, I couldn't pass this exam? You're just going to dump it. It's a brain dump after all. Now, how did you feel? How did you feel to achieve the goals? So failure, so what tools? You're going to ask yourself, from this failure, this is what happened. From this lesson, what was the lesson? So for every single area of your life, what tools did you use and what were the failures that you experienced? So the failures, what was the lesson? The wins, what was the lesson? That is everything that you're doing in this area. Now, remember what I say, it's not about failing, it's about taking the lessons from it and choosing to move forward. Now, speaking about the wheel of balance, remember what we said about the wheel of balance? It's meant to help you have a well-balanced life. Now, I use this very, very well because I say to myself, some seasons I'm focused on my career, some seasons I'm focused on my spirituality. So for instance, this year, my wheel of balance meant the areas that were important to me were my finances was important to me. My children were important to me. My children, my family, my home was important to me. My health was my health and my well-being were important to me. So for me, everything I achieved, everything I built for myself as a goal in 2025 was built around those 5 key areas. Now, the reason why in this wheel of balance you have God in the middle is I say God in the middle and then yourself. God in the middle and then yourself. Because I remember when I did the wheel of balance the first time, I used to think it's all about me. No, God must always be at the heart of everything that you're doing. So what we then do with this wheel of balance, now we have 2 versions. Some people like the circle version. Some people like the version where it's almost like they're going like a 180-degree version. So depending on the version that you like, you pick it and you understand that what are the areas that are important in my life. Now, before you go into that areas in terms of planning, I want you to sit down looking at your goals and ask yourself, in this year, you're going to write down every single thing you achieved in every area of your life. So for instance, your marriage. You remember we did a brain dump at the beginning. You're not going to go down and say, my marriage, what did I achieve in my marriage? My well-being, what did I achieve? Or my relationship, if you're single. Maybe a measure of success. Maybe, for instance, you were the top earning executive. Your finances, what did I achieve? I saved more this year. Fun, rest, what did I achieve? My family, my home. The purpose of doing this is sometimes you are achieving goals, but there are some areas of your life that are lacking. So remember what I said, sometimes you're achieving goals, but there are some areas of your life that are lacking. And because those areas of your life are lacking, what happens is this tool will help you pick up what area of your life is lacking. What area of your life do you need to focus on in the new year? So for instance, like I said, the year that I had so many achievements in my career and my business, But with my children, I had and my marriage, I was facing a tough time in my marriage, but I understood from using this tool why, because I didn't have any achievements. So there were no date nights. I wasn't strategic about planning my marriage, my children, spending time with them. This tool helped me pick up on that. And that's what the idea of this is. By using this tool, you're able to ask yourself, what area of life have I been focusing on? Maybe there's another area that I need to focus on more. Now I'm going to move. It says, what happened in the previous year or season that you are most grateful for? Now, what this does is, at the top of your head, when they ask you, did you have a good year? There might be something that will just jump out at you and say, oh, I had a good year because I managed to have a positive mindset this year. So it might not even be a goal. It might have just been, I am grateful this year that I had a positive mindset. I'm grateful this year because I enjoyed good life. I'm grateful this year for this. There has to be something that you can point to, that you can say, I am grateful this year for this particular thing. Now, what you then do is, after you're done with this, you're done with looking back, you now look forward. I've looked back. How do I look forward? I'm planning a new year. We're planning a new year. So what do I need to do in the new year? Now, remember what I said, well done, you've looked back, now it's time to look forward. What then happens is, you're going to go back to that wheel of balance. Remember the wheel of balance? Remember the wheel of balance? You're going to go back to it and you're going to ask yourself, based on what I achieved last year, there might be some 5 areas that I need to look at that is going to be important to me this year in 2026. So what are the 5 areas that are important to me? Remember, by looking backwards, you are able to identify the areas that are lacking. So for instance, by looking backwards, maybe you have realized, oh my gosh, my husband and I are fighting a lot, or maybe I didn't go on any dates this year. And so based on that, I need to focus on going out more. So my relationship life becomes important. Or maybe this year I fell ill a lot. So my well-being becomes important. I need to sleep more. I need to find a way to rest. Or maybe last year, I was able to make money, but I didn't save. And so your finances becomes important to you. So you're going to pick 5 key areas that are important to you in the new year. 5 key areas that are important to you in the new year. Now, when you pick those 5 areas, remember we're looking forward. You're going to write a number beside those 5 key areas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 key areas that are important to you in the new year. And then what you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself, okay, these are the 5 key areas that are important to me. If I had no limits, that's the next question. What will be the biggest goal I will want to achieve in these 5 key areas? Now, some people might have more than 5, but the reason why you're putting a number to it is, for instance, if for you, your finances is the most important, finance will be number 1. If your spiritual life is most important, spiritual will be number 2. By the time you're getting to number 6, it's not as important, but you can put a number to it. So you put a number to every single area of your life, but you know that they are the top 5 areas that I need for my life. Then you say, if I had no limits, what would be my biggest goal if I had no limits? Because some of us, you say to yourself, oh, wow, finance is my biggest area. I would like to save. How much would you like to save by the end of the year? So if you had no limits, what would be your biggest goals? Or for instance, your job, if you had no limits, what would be your biggest, maybe you're looking for a work-life balance. What would be your biggest goals? Or your children, what would be your biggest goals? Now, based on this, you now say, what are your limits? I want you to then sit down and begin to identify your limits, because you've asked yourself, if I had no limits, what would be my biggest goals? Then you're going to ask yourself, what are my limitations? What are my limitations? So for instance, with your finances, it might be that, oh, I don't earn enough. So because I don't earn enough, I cannot save enough. Or, okay, or you know what, my expenses are too much. My limitations is my expenses are too much. And that makes you know that you need to cut back on your expenses. Also, for instance, it might be your children. You might be like, oh, I need to spend more time on my children. But what is limiting is work. So maybe you work 5 days a week, you're going to the office. So you're asking yourself, what is my limitation time? So maybe you need to ask for flexibility at work, or maybe ask to say, okay, one weekend in a month, I'm going to spend time with my children. Now you begin to answer the questions on limitations. So it's not just what is my goal? You are asking yourself, what are my limitations? Once you answer your limitations, it makes planning easier. Then you are able to ask yourself, what resources do you need to achieve them? So once you know your limitations, let's say yours is children, or maybe yours is relationships. Oh, I haven't been going on a lot of dates. I would like to marry and settle down. Or, oh, career is my limitation. I didn't get a lot of job interviews. Where's my limitation? I didn't apply to the right places, or I don't know the right platforms. Okay, now I need to network. What are the resources that I need to strategically network. Do you see my point? So now you're going from limitations to resources. So remember, we started from saying, okay, I'm going to go back up. We started by saying, what are the key areas? You pick your 5 key areas. You can have more than 5. Then you ask yourself, what are the goals in these 5 key areas? What are the goals I want to achieve in these 5 key areas? I always say have one goal in each area. One goal in each area will keep you focused. Then you go into what are my limitations? What are my limitations? And then from your limitations, you then begin to ask yourself, what are the resources that I need to overcome my limitations? What resources do I need to overcome my limitations? And then based on this, you would find that you will have created your top 3 goals. Maybe you might say it might be top 3, it might be top 5 goals. I need to take steps to reach. So your top 3 goals is 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's top 3, or maybe for you, it might be top 5 is 1, 2, 3. And so you are able to say, based on what I have looked at, these are my top 3 goals, or these are my top 5 goals in these areas, and these are the steps I need to take to reach these 5 goals. This is how you plan yourself for a successful year. Now we say time to plan. Now, of course, you've written all of this down. You now have 5 goals or 3 goals. You now say, how do I build a vision board? I want to build a vision board. Remember, a vision board is just a picture. So for instance, you might go online and ask yourself, so remember, it's a picture. So what do you see? How would you get there? So for you, for instance, you told yourself, I want to spend more time with my children. You go and find a picture of a woman spending time with her children. Or you tell yourself, I want to be able to save more. And so you go and find a picture of somebody that is investing money. Those pictures, you put those pictures together on a cardboard. Some people might do a virtual vision board. So, I mean, I've seen people do in this day and age of AI, you can actually build a vision board using tools, some tools like Layout, where you put everything together. And then that tool becomes like a screensaver on your phone. So for me, my vision board for a while used to be, it was a physical vision board, but I took a picture of it and it was on my phone. So for you, it might be you take a picture and you take a picture of a physical vision board and you put it on your phone. Or sometimes you might need to build it with a tool, maybe a layout tool. Find like 7 pictures of all the areas that are important to you and put them together. I try to do 1 picture for each area. Some people do 2 pictures for each area. It all depends on you. I will show you my vision board for this year. Let me just scroll down. For 2026. For instance, this is my vision board for 2026. It shows you here, 2025, sorry, 1 picture for each area. So I had 1 picture. I wish I could zoom it in. I'm going to zoom it in. It shows you I wanted to be mindful this year. So for me, normally I'm very, very stressed out. But when I see that I'm stressed out, I just back off this year. That was one of my goals this year. I was very big on debt-free living. So whatever for me was something that will make me spend more money, I backed off. Debt-free, pass earning income through my different businesses, ensuring that my businesses were profitable was big for me. My health, I mean, forgive the fact that have someone with the six packs there. But for me, it was just important that I was not just working out, but it was important that I could see the results on my body. Of course, I had my 2025 5-year vision board in there. And then my books bestseller. And for me, I may not have achieved this, but I know that I'm on my way there because I was very intentional about how I promoted my books, being mindful, helped by God. I mean, trusting God for help, worship in spirit and in truth. I've just shown you that for me, I found a picture in every area of my life. Some areas were 2 pictures. So like for my finances, I had 3 pictures because that was my number 2 goal for the year. So I had 3 pictures in different areas. This is somebody that did a vision board that was virtual, and that's a virtual vision board. So you see career, her hobby, family, sport. This is different for them. But imagine somebody that put this on their wall and was seeing this every day, no matter how the year goes. They know what they plan for the year. They know what their top 5 areas are. So you find your top 5 areas and you plan according to those top 5 areas. I'm going to scroll back up. I'm scrolling back up. Okay. So remember what I said about the vision board. It's a picture. Remember the power of a picture? It's a picture. It reminds you of who you are when you are when all is down and out. It's a good reminder. Remember what I said for the vision board, and these are some of the notes that I put here. It helps you with clarity. What is the one thing in each area? That's what you want to build on. And you need to understand your season. It will all come together. You have to celebrate. Now, one of the things I say to people when they're building their vision board is do it afraid. They say if your vision doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. So you need to do it afraid. Dare, dream, do. Big, scary, audacious goals, then break it down into bits. These are things that are important. Break it into clear bite sizes, which is why we put this down here. In fact, we're going to expand this and we're going to make this my top 5 goals is I need to take this step. The top 5 goals is here, right? I'm going to scroll up. Now, remember, you have to, in everything you do, you have to have a mindset shift. Okay, let me start from here. And other tips that can help you with your vision board is, remember, it can be virtual, it can be physical, it doesn't have to be physical like mine. Also break it down into bite sizes, daily, weekly, monthly. I mean, for me, I remember one of the things that I do with my vision board is every month, my sister knows I have goals for myself every month. Some I have with her, some I have for myself based on what my vision board is, because I feel like some areas may be getting my attention during the course of the year. Also, don't get stuck. Don't be scared to reassess yourself, tell yourself the truth, to explore new opportunities. Other thing is buy back time, find a way to delegate. Delegate. I say to people, if you can delegate, it is the solution to a lot of things that you do. And also I say, feel forward. Don't be scared to just start. I'm always saying it's not about perfection. It's all about starting and then moving forward from there. And once again, keep evolving, find the right circle, your friends, your mentors, your coaches, pen to paper, do the work and just show up. Now I'm going to go into, this is a tool, it's a handbook. I hope that you will spend time really, really digesting this handbook, But one of the things I say is when you're done with your vision board, place it in a strategic location. Mine sits in front of my closet. There was a year where it was sitting by the place where I pray. Find a place and position it there. And like I shared with you vision boards, examples. Remember, in building your vision board, God first. God first, and make sure you create time, especially towards the end of the year. Create time to just sit down and really, really assess what you're doing, set the mood. If you don't plan the year, you are planning to fail, is one of the things that I say. And then in this handbook, I share more tips. I share more tips, the power of a coach, so many things that you can gain from. And remember something, one thing I want you to do when you're done with your vision board is you need to affirm yourself and create your own confession. So affirm yourself. So for instance, you might be able to say to yourself, write positive confessions for yourself. I have confessions that I say every day to encourage myself. And because there's some days you're not always going to feel 100%, but you must be able to affirm yourself and have confessions that will gear you up for where you are going. And we create that space for your confessions. And of course, feel free to go back every month, every week. But the idea for us in using this tool is it's a vision board for yourself, 3 goals for the year. You need to create 3 to 5 goals for the year. And we're going to update the handbook with that. Now, remember what I said? I've literally done a crash course on how to do a vision board. Now, if I were you, I might have some of my friends where, like I said, when I did a vision board the first 2 years, I did it with a bunch of my friends. You might want to create a bunch of your friends where 3 of you come together to do this vision board. There's a lot of accountability in that. It also forms a way for you to kind of build and do what is necessary for you to move forward. A lot of times I like when people create vision boards with community. Once you see somebody achieve their goals, it also propels you to be able to say, I can also do that. Somebody did it, I can do it as well. Now, for me, for my mentees, what I'm saying to you is, it's not just about creating a vision board for 2026. It's about creating one for maybe a 5-year one that would create a pattern or a direction for you for where you are going. You're 25, you're 26, you're 24. You're trying to decide, where do I want to be? You're trying to invest in yourself. When you create a 5-year vision board for yourself, it kind of pushes you to, okay, when you're making the wrong choice, somebody comes to you with the wrong choices, you're able to say, look, this does not align with where I want to be. So I'm not gonna make that decision. I'm not gonna be friends with this person because it doesn't align with where I want to be. Or maybe you have money as you're working, you're gonna say, oh, I've prioritized my finances. And so based on this, am I investing for my future? What am I doing for my future? Because 5 years is gonna come by very quickly. I ask myself, this year I turned 40. In 5 years' time, I'm going to be 45. I'm going to be 5 years away from 50. And I'm going to be 20 years away from retirement. It's a lot of retrospect, but it's something that I need to tell myself. If in 5 years' time, I'm 20 years away from retirement, how am I going to retire? What is my future going to look like? It really helps to determine some of the expenses and the purchases that I'm making, which is why finance has become a big part of my vision board every year. Now, even as I round up this session, one of the things I want to say, remember, we're going to put the link out. You can go and download for the next 72 hours. The handbook is going to be available for you to download for free. And it's a yearly tool. Share with a friend. It's going to be available 72 hours for the next 72 hours. Use the tool with a friend. Also, one of the things that I'm doing, even as I end Manifest 2025 for my mentees, is this. I want you to be very intentional about the next few years of your life. Reach out to me. Let me know what you're doing, how it's going. For some of my mentees that have been very active on the mentoring session, we are going to be opening a special cohort. I call them the special TCC group, where those that have been very active are going to be moved to that cohort, and I will continue to mentor you. We're not having a manifest group, a chosen company in 2026, but we're having a special cohort. And so we're going to be back again in the year. It's every 2 years. If you know somebody that would like to join some of my sessions, maybe you can find me on social media, on my website. Follow me, follow my newsletters. Those newsletters will help you during the course of the week. I'm always sharing motivational, inspirational content to help you during the course of the year. So maybe sign up for my newsletters. They're going to be putting the link up now. If they can share those links, that would be great. Those links will help you know when the next mentoring cohort is starting. I'm not doing anyone in 2026. Those links will also help you sign up to my newsletter. And also, most importantly, if you're a member of the special TCC cohort for 2026, you can invite your friends when we have some of our events as well. Otherwise, for me, this really is a sign out of Manifest 2025. It's been great being your mentor. It's been great meeting a lot of you that are going to be coming back to rewatch these sessions. It's been great just being able to pour into people. And for those that maybe are, yeah, thank you so much. So you can sign up for my newsletter that way. You can also find my website and also sign up as well. And you can also find us on social media. Follow the.chosen.company. If you're watching this again, it's a powerful group of women, 20s to 30s, that you can connect with. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of things in the course of the year. I may not be mentoring you physically one-on-one, but I'm going to be providing mentoring for people 20s to 30s online through the platform, The Chosen Company. Now, as I close out today, I just want to say a word of prayer over all of you. And I'm releasing all of you into the world. I'm praying that God will give you grace. God will give you clarity. God will lead you expressly into the new year. You will find favor. God will give you the gift of men. God will surround you with the right kind of friends, the right kind of people. For those of you trusting God for spouses, you will marry your own spouse. You will not marry somebody else's spouse. God will favor you and God will guide you in everything that you do in Jesus' name. I'm looking forward to hearing from all my mentees. I'm looking forward to reading from all of you. I celebrate all of you. And don't forget, they're also going to post the link, which Happiness is going to share, for you to go and download the handbook, the guide to build your vision board. Build it. Do not compare with your friends. And I pray that the favor of God will envelope you. And anytime you see me on the streets of social media, just send me a message, send me a DM, send me a high five, and just know that I am cheering you on. God bless you guys. God bless you. It's been an absolute honor hosting Manifest 2025. I look forward to the special cohort group who are joining, and I look forward to mentoring the next group. God bless you guys. Over to you, Happiness. Don't forget to share the link on how to find the platform as well.
Thank you so much, Mrs. V. Thank you for every session, and thank you for this session too. So I can see some comments, amen, and thank yous on the group. Please share the link for this session with your friends. Share the seller link with them too, so they can get the vision board guide through the kindness of our lead mentor. We would have it for 72 hours for free, but after that time, it will be paid. I promise you that it is completely worth it. And rather than maybe just share the link with people, share it with your friends, share it with those that you have spoken to about vision boards before, or those that have no idea how to create a vision board. Just share it with them. Use the QR code on your screen and just gain from it. And you can follow The Chosen Company on Instagram. The handle is on the YouTube comments. So thank you once again, Ms. B. This has been an amazing session.
Could ever need, so I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna stay just the way God made me. I'm not gonna take any more of these lies they've been feeding me. Not gonna listen to the voices of my enemies today. Oh, drastic measures.